Welcome to the Leather Journey. I'm Dex, and before we get started, go ahead and subscribe. Ring the bell, and then as you're watching the video and you think of a comment, don't wait to the end of the video to make the comment. Hit the pause button and go ahead and make a comment. The channel's small enough that I honestly read every comment, and most of the time I do reply. The easiest way to contact me directly, though, is on my Fetlife profile, because I look at that profile every day. It's just simply Dex, D-E-X. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about dungeon etiquette. Dungeon etiquette is something that I don't think is talked about enough because of the internet and social media. The people that are interested in kinky things and leather and BDSM or alternative lifestyles, the special interest groups in the lifestyle have grown so much over the last 2 decades. We have people that are interested in furries, and pet play, and pony play. Cosplay has kind of, some of that aspects of that has migrated over. There's age play of all different age groups, all the way from infant in diapers, all the way up to adolescence and late teenage years. Playrooms, dolls, everything that can be brought in to kinky interests, and you see it all. But we go in the dungeon. When we think of dungeon play, we think of needles, wax play, violet wand, electric play, impact play of all types. Rope is big now, rope and suspension. But we go into a dungeon and we have all these different kinds of equipment to accommodate a broad spectrum of play, okay? And dungeon etiquette often gets forgotten about, so I'm going to just say a few words about it today. Every dungeon's different because the layout's different, the DMs are different, the organization's different. Some dungeons are even run without DMs, with just having like an orientation, BDSM 101, or a safety briefing that you have to go to, and then it's up to each individual to be an adult and follow the rules. So the way I think of the dungeon is every dungeon's different. You have to, as you enter it, identify what the rules are. If there are DMs, find out what the parameters the DMs are going by, what's considered safe and not safe, what play is allowed and not allowed. A lot of dungeons, in fact probably most dungeons, won't allow scat play or golden showers or any of that kind of play, just because they don't have the facilities to handle or accommodate that kind of play. So find out what is allowed and what isn't allowed, and then of course follow the dungeon rules. That's one of the first things with dungeon etiquette, is be courteous and considerate and follow the rules. The other thing is, that's kind of common across all dungeons, is don't touch other people's toys, don't touch other people's toy bags. If there's a toy bag that's in the way of a station that you want to play at and that station's not being used, don't just pick that bag up and move it. Search around and try to find out who the owner is, and if you can't find out who the owner is, then I always ask a DM if they would mind moving it for me, okay? That way you're still maintaining yourself true to that etiquette of not touching anyone else's toys, and you certainly wouldn't want them touching your toys. That also goes with play. If you've got 3 stations side by side and you lay your toys out, and the top next to you has laid their toys out, be considerate as you walk up or your bottom's walking around, and make sure that you don't touch or step on any of the toys that don't belong to you. Some of this is common sense. Some of it's not, because I go in dungeons and I see people violating this etiquette or not being considerate of this etiquette all the time. Be aware of your surroundings. You can't be in a dungeon and be a zombie on your phone. You're in a live leather dungeon with live play. Don't walk into someone's scene. Don't walk between someone and their bottom when they're throwing a whip or throwing an impact toy. So don't be a pedestrian that's going to impede someone's play. Voyeurs are welcome in most dungeons, okay? Without voyeurs, there wouldn't be any exhibitionists, but the voyeurs have to be respectful of the scene that's going on, which comes to another aspect of what I consider quality dungeon play, is you don't want to hear a lot of noise and talking in the background. When I'm throwing a whip or I'm playing and I'm in top space, I'm throwing a whip that's traveling at close to or at the speed of sound, and I need to be able to focus. My bottom also needs to be able to focus on the energy that they're receiving from the whip. And what I'm saying about myself and the bottom, that's multiplied by all of the people that are playing at the same time in the dungeon on all the different stations. They need to be able to focus, and they can't focus if in the background all the people that are socializing or voyeuring are talking loud and are louder than the music that's playing in the dungeon, which kind of comes to another rule of thumb I have for organizers and dungeon owners, is the music in the dungeon should be louder than the din of noise of people talking in the background. If it's not, increase the volume of the music, okay? And I'm to a point where I'm okay with the music being so loud that it's uncomfortable for people that are observing to talk, because they shouldn't be talking in the dungeon. If you do have to talk in the dungeon, use a 6-inch voice, like a whisper, a stage voice. Talk in such a way that your voice won't break into the concentration of the people that are scening that are the closest to you, okay? That's all part of just being considerate and respectful. I think of the dungeon as a sacred space. We have very little opportunity in our lives to be able to communicate and connect with someone with the implements that we love the best, whether that's a violet wand, whether it's a whip, whether it's a flogger. And when we're communicating, it's an experience of sharing energy, sharing part of your key with someone else, and it's a precious, sacred thing. And we don't want that precious, sacred thing spoiled because there are other people in the dungeon that aren't considerate and following kind of common standard dungeon etiquette. So even though dungeons are all different and dungeon rules will change from venue to venue to venue, there's a certain etiquette and protocol that kind of really supersedes and carries over in that umbrella of dungeon play, regardless of what the individual rules might be at a specific venue. Okay, this is a little longer than I wanted it to be, but thank you so much for watching. Consider joining the Leather Journey.